Carey, bow.
Perfect. Coming through perfect.
I'm coming through good?
Coming through
Just
good.
like Mariah Carey? Mm-hmm. Thank you. You don't compliment me enough on how much I'm like Mariah Carey.
You're just like her.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Ivamy.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of superhero television or film. And this week on the podcast, we were talking about yet another new movie. The new movies, they just keep on coming. We were talking about Free Guy.
We're talking about Free Guy. Free Guy didn't jump the queue. We talked about how Suicide Squad came
Jumped
out like
the queue. Yeah,
jumped
yeah.
the queue.
Free Guy's like
Free Guy was made years ago.
deep on the queue.
It's a deep queue.
Yeah,
So it's been waiting to come back. Free Guy had like 4 release dates.
Yeah. Free Guy is like the New Mutants of the pandemic movies. Did New Mutants come out mid-pandemic? I think
Yeah,
it did.
because we went.
That's
we had
right.
to wear
That
masks.
one little minute that they were open for.
It was Tenet and New Mutants.
That's right. They kind of came out on the two ones that everyone was talking about.
We were all waiting for both of those to come out.
Tenet and New Mutants equally talked about.
Double feature.
Everyone says it.
For the world.
Everyone says it. But yeah, now the new movies are rolling out. We were talking about Free Guy this week, and we are going to give you a spoiler-free review. So if you're on the fence about seeing it, if you're unsure if it's your deal, or maybe you just want like a little taste of the episode before you do go out and see it yourself, we're going to give you a spoiler-free review. Then once you hear the theme music, after that is when we get into the main episode. That's where it's going to be spoiler-heavy, so spoiler warning into that section. But let's start out right away with a spoiler-free review of Free Guy. Diana, did you like it?
I thought it was great. I was really, really happy with it. It was better than I thought it was going to be. The first half was as good as I thought it was going to be. The first half was only good. It's like delightful and you're having fun. The first half has no big laughs. So you're kind of just like, it's fine. Yeah, I'm having an okay time. And then the second half ratchets up really nicely. The action gets more intense. The laughs are way bigger. The relationships really develop. So don't give up on this movie halfway through if you're not feeling it. The second half is way better. But yeah, it's a really fun idea. Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds. He's Reynolds in Around. It's nice to see him in a movie that's good, that's not Deadpool. I don't think there's another one. Yeah, you're struggling.
Oh, another good movie. I thought you were saying like I don't think there's going to be a second Free Guy movie.
Oh, no.
Okay,
There's no other good Ryan Reynolds movie.
It's tough.
For
It's
Deadpool.
tough. It's tough. Two Guys, a Girl was a great TV show. I'll throw that out there as a solid option.
That's pretty far back that you had to just go.
I mean, right away, it was on the tip of my tongue, though, actually. That is some heat for him.
Fair enough. But
nevertheless, Nathan Fillion as well. It's a good time.
It's a good time.
It's a good show.
I had a great time at Free Guy, especially in the second half when it gets real fun and silly and has more of an emotional impact. Andrew, did you like Free Guy?
Yeah, I really liked it. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. I'm with you. The end does have more energy. I think that it actually does have a lot of fun energy off the top. I think it lulls in the middle a little bit.
Okay.
Because like I think once the movie starts, and at this point, even in the spoiler-free review, you've seen the trailers, you know the basic premise. I think when they're setting up the premise of this movie, it is a joke machine where it is just like, we're inside a video game. How would that work? Joke. Then the second they start trying to like lay what the actual movie is, that midsection kind of gets bogged down and gets a little slow. But yeah, it pays off. It is more fun. It is more action filled at the end, and it makes no sense, but I don't mind it. Like, I mean, it makes enough sense, but there are several points in the movie where I'm like, well, that's not anything, but who cares? Like, I had that thought several times to be like, that's not how servers work. Fuck it. Like, none of it makes any sense. There's a scene from like late seasons Community where they're having a problem with the Wi-Fi, or they get a virus on the computer system, and the character Keith David plays says to the dean, he's like, well, you could put the server at the hardline mainframe, and the dean's like, yes, and tense music comes on, and he's like running through the campus, and then stops eventually, and is like, that doesn't make any sense. That's kind of this whole movie to a certain degree. If you think about it for even a moment, none of it's anything, but it is fast and fun and charming and charismatic, and it really kind of like keeps its own momentum going. It's a Looney Tunes cartoon where you can run off the cliff, and as long as you don't look down and think about where you are, you can keep running forward forever.
Oh, you just gotta believe that you can keep running forward. Yeah. I'll agree with that for the most part. There are a few oddly nitpicky things that I'm going to point out later, just because they break the movie's own logic. But I'm not going to nitpick about things like, what are servers? Because I personally don't know what servers are.
Right.
I know that they bring me meals and they bring me internet. That's what servers do.
That's two different types, yeah.
I laid down two different
synonyms.
types.
I see how it works.
But they do cover up their tracks really well with just like a lot of like nonsense lingo, making it seem like things make sense, which I'm totally cool with in a movie like this. And for me, a person who's like, servers are probably that.
Right.
I bet you couldn't hack that code, hacker.
Yeah, like this treats technology the way that like Bill and Ted treats time travel, which is just like,
what if we leave the keys here?
Just don't worry about it. Just don't fucking worry about it. So like I will probably like goof on it a little bit during this episode, but it will be lighthearted goofs because it is fun and charming and charismatic, and it has a certain energy and pace and vivacity to it where like it's fun the whole time.
Andrew just pulled out vivacity. We're not getting mad in this episode about anything. We are vivacious people.
I'm too blessed to be stressed, all right?
Man,
it is chill as hell in here.
We are the freest guys.
It has been like a good month of just like watching movies. Like between like all the new movies we've seen, it was like this, Suicide Squad, Jungle Cruise.
Snake Eyes is coming up. We've already seen it. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. And then there was another new one, I think, right before that as well that we had seen. But it's been
Black Widow. Black Widow was great. Black Widow was great. What a summer.
This has been like a true blockbuster summer where it reminds me of there was like a year and a half, 2 years ago where we had like an oops all banger month on the podcast where everything new was a banger, or at least quite good. I think we're in that phase right now where it's like everything's pretty fucking good.
I guess and
I don't know if maybe we're just thirsty. Maybe we're
thirsty
just
for that new stuff.
Maybe it's just like we haven't seen movies in a while and we get there and we're like, these images keep moving and like maybe our standard's low, but I've been having a great time at the theaters.
I think when your movie's delayed for a year and a half, you can make it better. And you can really trim the fat and like watch it literally 80,000 times and be like, it's a perfect movie.
Now it's perfect.
I think we've been fair because I will say we've had high likes, but we haven't had any loves.
That's true.
We've had some really high likes.
We've had some very high likes, though.
Some high likes.
Yeah. So Free Guy, it's fun. We both really liked it. Can it be spoiled?
There is one thing that happens that if it had been spoiled for me, I would have been furious. So I'm going to just say like,
yes.
I would have been so mad if that got ruined. So yes, there is a spoiler. Yeah,
but it's a fun goof and not a like plot relevant. The movie doesn't make sense, but it is a fun, unexpected goof that does happen in this movie. So I think like a laugh and like smile spoiler where like that moment of laughter and smiling could be removed.
I just don't want laughter taken from me.
I understand.
I cherish it.
But plot relevancy, I don't think it can be spoiled at all.
It's all brought out at the beginning. Yeah. They lay it down early.
It's gobbledygook. It's a movie in a computer. It's a movie in a video game. Just get on board. Don't think about it too much. But there is one good goof that could be spoiled for you.
Yeah, that's my feelings on the spoilers in this movie.
Fully with you.
Excellent.
All right, so it is good. One goof can be spoiled. Let's get into now the spoiler-filled section. Let's fully get into it and talk about Free Guy.
Ooh, he's free.
All right, so we have seen Free Guy.
We saw it.
We had a very good time.
We did have a good time. This was the first time in a very long time I've had a communal theater experience.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because it was a crowded theater.
Yeah, even the like 2 or 3 movies we've seen during pandemic, it has really been us and maybe like one other person in the other corner of the theater.
Mm-hmm. But this theater was full and people who like laughed at all the moments we did and like it felt like you were part of something. One guy yelled a thing one time, seemingly out of instinct and not like trying to be funny, and it was wonderful.
It was very funny.
It felt really good.
Charming. It was a good human experience.
Yeah, the human experience was good, and I think the individual experience was also good within the movie.
Yeah. I think that like this really reminded me how important it is to see comedies in the theater, which I know that like prior to the pandemic, comedies is something that we have relegated to home, and like comedies are still obviously great to watch at home, but it's like we went and saw Snake Eyes, we saw Tenet. Like, we've seen, like, big blockbuster action movies in the theater, and it's cool on a bigger screen and with bigger sound, but it's the same experience relatively. It's just like, oh, this is larger and louder, and that's nice to a certain degree. But comedy was like, oh, this is I'm in a community.
Yeah.
Like, this is actually an experience that I feel like I'm experiencing it with other people, and I am.
Yeah, like turn to the person next to you, and if they weren't 6 feet away, which they are, I'd like hit them in the shoulder and be like, "Did you see that?"
And like,
Ryan Reynolds. Am I right?
Yeah, there'd be a lot of like
this guy,
a lot of this guy, this free guy,
this
literally this guy.
Literally this guy here.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed this movie outside of the theatrical experience and appreciating movies again in the theater and being reminded that comedies might be more important than blockbuster action movies in the theater. I had a lot of fun watching this. Right off the bat, I feel like I get what you were saying earlier about like it's a little slow off the bat. I think it's more the middle, because off the bat, like the jokes per minute of the world building that they have of just like being at the bank and the bank robberies and putting on the glasses and the visual effects, like it is 2 jokes a minute easily in that first little while.
There are a lot of jokes there. I think maybe most of them are in the trailer.
Okay.
So I think the trailer like gives you all of this. Like he goes to work every day, he gets robbed every day. You can't wear sunglasses, but they are set up very well. It almost in a way feels like Lego movie-esque.
A little bit.
In a really fun, positive way.
Yeah.
Like you're like setting up the world, a bunch of in-jokes. It's like, everything is awesome. Like you kind of get those vibes.
Yeah.
And then like just
and
like,
even that energy of like the guy who wakes up excited every morning is like, hey Goldie, we're going to work today. Like that level of like purity and enthusiasm.
Yeah. So it does have these Lego movie vibes, and that purity and enthusiasm is, you almost become blind to this for a while as you watch it, but it's constantly done so well throughout the movie with the background violence happening everywhere, like at all times.
Yeah.
Like the best part is, I think you're right, very early when he's ordering that coffee, one of the best jokes is just that tank just slowly turning while every time it cuts to him ordering his coffee. And it's so funny to me, this just like incidental background violence that they must have worked so hard on to seed into every scene.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
It's wonderfully done. It's seamless.
And even these, like, there's little video game details that are just so funny. I think in one of the first few scenes where, like, he's leaving the bank, just in the background, there's just one guy running straight at a wall and trying to run up the wall, trying to do a wall jump to get to, like, clearly a higher level and, like, get to an area you shouldn't be at yet to try to like brute force a level. But just a man in the background running full speed at a wall and then doing like the Office level parkour because they can't wall jump off of it. That is so funny as a background gag. The guy who's always on fire, guy with his hands up all the time, the tank rolling around and pointing at stuff, like the old-timey blimp battle that's happening through the...
Oh, I didn't see a blimp battle.
Yeah, there was like a blimp battle. Like
It's a blimp.
There's so much going on in the background, and it's all charming, and it is all like terrific comedy.
Yeah, it's so constant that I'm like, I even missed the blimp battle. Like it's sometimes you're watching it and sometimes you're blind to it. They do such a good job of setting it up as this is just the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely flawless. I adored this detail about it. And like because I feel like, I don't know if we had very different viewing experiences because I'm not a gamer, but you are. But I watch you play a lot of games, which I feel like is very similar. So, like, I don't know how different our experiences were of this movie.
Honestly, I don't think that different because, again, it's like, you know, it is just whatever to video games. And obviously, like, there might be a few references that aren't even necessarily added jokes that I got out of it where I'm just like, oh, it's basically GTA Online. Grand Theft Auto is clearly the game that this the most is. Maybe I caught a few Fortnite references that you didn't. But again, they weren't even really jokes. They were just references. So it would just be like this is the dance from Fortnite, which frankly you probably even recognize
I
the
know.
dances from Fortnite,
I know the Fortnite
which
dances.
legally aren't the dances from Fortnite. Fortnite stole them from actual dancers who should be paid for what the dances they created. But it's the air quote dances from Fortnite.
We see you, Donald Faison.
You are seen.
You're one of them.
And you too, Floss Kid.
I don't know the other people. I just know Donald
One
Faison.
is the kid who did the floss dance. That was stolen from you. Sorry, Floss Kid. But yeah, it's the air quote dances from Fortnite and little things like that maybe I picked up on. I'd say actually maybe the only direct video game thing that I might have noticed that you didn't. And I don't know. So this was originally Fox. This turned out to be Disney. We'll kind of talk a bit more about that later. But a couple direct references to the Half-Life video game series, which is owned by Valve. And I don't know if Valve has a parent company or used to be partially owned by Fox or how they got the rights to that. The portal gun and that blue and orange, even though like portal is a generic word, I believe as it was presented is the copyrighted version from the video game Portal. And then as well, he also seems to use the gravity gun, which is a weapon from the video game series Half-Life. So those are the only, and like I think that those were legitimately like you got permission from the video game producer to actually make this. That might be the only like references. So I don't think you missed much.
I wish I remember the moment because there was one moment where you were laughing very hard and I wasn't. And I was like, maybe that's a video game thing. And I can't remember what it was, so I probably shouldn't even bring it up. But there was one other thing. If I watched the movie again, I'd find out. But the only bad thing about theater experience is I can't take notes live like I can at home.
Right.
If I'd been at home, I would have been like, why is Andrew laughing?
I gotcha.
I would have written it down
Why
in my
did he
little
laugh
book.
during this moment?
But I can't remember what it was. I will get into a joke negative off of that because so we have the video game world and then we have the real world. And the real world is kind of like how games are made, but also just like nonsense at the same time. And honestly, I have like no problem with most of this movie about like what servers are, what programmers are. You steal a video game, you use it to make a different game. I'll accept all of that. I will not accept that someone thought they could make a video game movie and name their main character Keys in the year 2021. This is awful.
Keys? You're drawing the line at keys.
Yes, like a keyboard. Like he's on his keys all the time.
Oh.
Like it's the first name you think of when you have to name a programmer, and the second programmer is named Mouser.
Mousy.
What do you use?
Or Mouser,
what do
not
you
Mousy.
use it a key? What do you use it a key?
It's
on
mousy.
a computer?
It's mousy and keys.
You use you use a keyboard and a mouse, and that's who these guys are. But they're the main characters. If they were side
and
characters,
I think that's their legal names
they
as
never
well.
have other names.
No, because I think when they're interviewing the like developers of the game, which is Millie and Keys, and I think it's like Keyes, like that's his last name or something.
I don't think so. I think
No?
it's a nickname. I think it's in brackets.
Okay, all right. So maybe it is his nick, but yeah, it's too much. I agree with you. It's too much.
It's absolutely no. It's spelled without an e on IMDb.
Okay.
It is. I give people better nicknames on our Patreon.
Yes.
Like you can have a character with a nickname, but you can't be like this in a movie about video games that seems to know a lot about video games. You should know literally no one in video games is nicknamed Keys.
Yeah.
It's just it's what an old man thinks a nickname would be of a character in a video game movie.
Here's what blows my mind about it. It's Mousy and Keys, right? Those
Yeah.
are the two developers at this big studio. And when we meet them together at the same time. This is Mousy and this is Keys. But then we get the backstory of Keys. Keys didn't know Mousy in the past.
Not till he moved here. Not till he started working at this place.
And was previously named Keys. So Keys and Millie made a video game. Then at Keys' second job, his partner is a dude named Mousy.
Do you think Mousy
that
changed
is-
his name when he met Keys? Do you think he got the nickname?
That is like in the human world, if your nickname was Starsky and you knew no one named Hutch.
No one.
And then you got a job and your partner was Hutch. That's too serendipitous.
If it did happen in real life, I'd be like, well, soulmates.
I mean, yeah,
I'd be
that's
very
something
excited,
special's going on. Yeah.
But it's incomprehensible, even in this very silly movie.
Even in this silly movie, that's too much.
Genuinely, like, there's little things that aren't real in this movie. Like, no indie developer gets interviewed like that about their game.
Yeah.
That was the most awkward, unreal thing I've ever seen about indie games.
And it was like a terrible interviewer and a terrible interview that made it seem like it was the type of bad interview that would be bad, but maybe would happen on like the biggest press junket for the biggest thing.
Yeah. Like a sit down, like the interviewer's all done up. And I'm like, not to stereotype, but no games journalist looks like that. And like they don't go on air like that. Like you're not a news company.
It's a 3-camera like press junket.
Yeah, for an
indie
game.
developer doesn't have that. No.
You would have like one guy with a camera come up to you at your booth and be like, tell me about your indie game. And you might have a really fun, like personable conversation about it, but nothing like this. And like, they wouldn't know that you're kind of into your co-developer, but you're not quite there. And they wouldn't ask you about it.
No, I mean, that was actually one thing where I went through a mental battle during that moment. Because when this interviewer is like, you two, indie developers I just met, everyone's talking about if you're dating. A, no, they are not.
They don't give a shit.
B, you just met. No one knows these indie developers. They legitimately have never produced a game before. No one knows who these human beings are. No one's gossiping whether they're dating. You've just met. You're a bad interviewer. And then my brain was like, you wouldn't ask that. It's inappropriate. And then part of my brain was also like, someone would ask that. That's a really shitty thing that for sure some jackass would ask that. And I went through this mental battle to be like, is it realistic that someone asked a jackass inappropriate question of a male female like coworkers? Or is that realistic or is that shitty? And I don't know which, and it might be both.
I'm 100% with you. I don't think they would get asked that until at least the game got released.
Right.
Like the game's not out.
Right.
They've never released a game. No one knows if it's good or not. So this really is just a like, who are you guys? Tell the world. I think you're dating. Unless this woman just had no questions prepared, which very, very possible because they are nobodies.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It could be rude. It could be totally what would actually happen.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't be named Keys.
He wouldn't be named Keys, and then later gets partnered with old Mouse McMouse or whatever.
Because like he's Keys because he's the programmer.
Sure.
So I'm like,
sure.
So what's Millie's like? Millie should have a nickname like God, like writer. Her nickname should be writer. Like
yeah. Well,
creative type.
Here's the other thing, if you think about it, even fucking slightly.
We're thinking about it.
You think about it even slightly, all right? He created the program, all right? And she's like, I write stories. I'm the story writer. And he's like, I'm the tech guy. I code. The game they came up with was an open world sandbox where AI live out their own lives. Nothing's written.
There's no...
What did she do?
I think she only must have written like...
What did she do?
The first line of dialogue for every character.
What did she do on this game?
She came up with the idea, maybe?
Maybe.
And then he did so much more work.
Yes. Yeah.
Because she would have maybe had to come up with each character to be in there.
Right.
And then they're just supposed to grow on their own.
But even then, he made the base characters as well. When he described it, he was like, I needed to come up with base personality traits that like an AI could grow out of. And he did that. So he even did that. What did she do?
I don't know what Millie did.
She did. Because like, yes, if this was a story-driven linear video game that like, sure, like she would be the visionary who put everything together and he might be the tech visionary. But it's a game that is literally a tech demo. The only thing the air quote game is a tech demo about technology. I have no idea what Millie did.
I agree.
Yes.
So, but she's really all in. Well, maybe this is like, she's like, I'm never going to get anyone to program a whole game for me again. I got to get this game back. I gotta get money somehow from this because I have no ideas apparently and no ability to code.
I think that's it. She is literally stranded without Keys as the partner.
Keys is doing great. Like,
Keys is like, I have other job opportunities.
He's got a wonderful apartment. He's definitely getting paid a lot of money over there.
Right.
Yeah. So
and Millie is just like, I needed this. You were my golden ticket, Keys, and without you, I've got nothing.
Don't leave me, Keys.
I don't even have a nickname based on the thing that I do.
because
I'm the only person in this movie who doesn't do a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, at no point do they give her like the power or agency of like I created something.
No.
Like she has, they never imply like a thing that she has done or a skill or a talent that she has. She is like, I mean, I guess like Guy is obviously like the titular protagonist, but she is like 100% a passenger for this whole thing, whereas Keys actually has things to do.
He has things to do. Really, all she gets to do is play the game, which she's like good at, but she's not like a gamer. She even says it. She's like, I don't like this game. I just need to get a clip. Like,
yeah.
And she's good at it, but that's not like the skills she's bringing to the table. She doesn't like train Guy like how to play it.
Yeah, not
or
at all.
anything like that. She just tells him to go steal guns like as a throwaway line. So yeah, they don't give her like, which didn't really bother me in the moment because as you said, we were just Bugs Bunny running across air.
Yeah.
But the second you think about it, you're like, they didn't give her anything to do with video games.
No, she has literally no plot relevance other than being a physical object for people to love.
For two different men to love.
For two different men to love. She is a romance prop and not a human being. So the movie is pretty gross in that regard. To be like, there's a female character, and she's just a romance prop who has no agency, power, authority, skills, talent, or ability in any regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely happened.
That's not cool.
All right, well, let's get into a positive because I did like this movie.
Yes.
Absolutely did not know he was in this. Channing Tatum was great.
Why wasn't Channing Tatum in the trailers? I don't understand.
And he's in like 3 scenes. So
Yeah.
like you didn't need to keep this like a secret.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like one blow up scene. He had one longer scene, but he's in the movie.
100. He is a credited character and star of this movie. This isn't a cameo or stunt casting. Like this is the guy. Like he's a character in the movie.
A full character in multiple scenes. Doesn't make any sense why they didn't like. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is also a star, but Ryan Reynolds and Channing Tatum, like,
yeah.
I'd buy 2 tickets just for me.
100%.
I would sit with myself somehow.
Yes.
One for me, one for the Ryan Reynolds fan in me, and one for the Channing Tatum fan in me.
Yeah.
And I'd be so satisfied.
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't you be? Why?
And, yeah, he was so funny. The fact that he is absolutely perfect casting for this movie too, because he's incredibly funny.
Yeah.
He's a very good actor. And like no one else could actually do these Fortnite dances without having to CG them in.
Right.
Like, he is that smooth and that good a dancer.
He's smooth. He's a professional dancer. He's jacked like a video game character. He is fun, charming, and self-deprecating in a way where he's like, yeah, well, I know I look like an idiot video game character. He looks like the lead character from a character from Saints Row, the video games.
Okay.
Like he's just he looks like a jacked dumb guy, but he's super fun and self-aware and playful and smart and
so comfortable with himself.
Love it.
That he's willing to like make fun of himself and do like things that a lot of actors wouldn't do, and like just the actual dance moves blew me away. He just like 4 right in a row, and I'm like, oh my god, Channing Tatum, you're so talented. How can you have multiple talents? Like, you can't be that funny and that jacked and that good a dancer. It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's just not fair.
And just him selling the streamer who's yelling at his mom. Like, that final scene that he has, and it's just him so excited to meet Blue Shirt Guy. And then it's just ending on come on, do the dance with me. God damn it, Mom, you're vacuuming right now. Him screaming that to no one and nothing into open air is so funny. It's so fucking funny.
It's so funny. He sells it. I think that's the only scene where we interact with a streamer, which was very fun. To just have like one scene about of like, what are you looking at and who are you talking to? And
yeah.
So like they kept that joke just long enough that it was funny, and
I
it
agree.
would have been too much if we had multiple scenes with streamers. So yeah, everything with Channing Tatum was just chef's kiss, so good.
I wanted more of Channing Tatum in this movie,
We always
frankly.
want more of Channing
You always
Tatum.
want a little more of
We
Channing Tatum.
always say that. There's no movie where you're like, too much Channing Tatum. It's never happened.
I actually can't think of it happening. You're right.
It's like The Rock.
Yeah.
He's up there with The Rock.
It's just always fun.
It's
just always fun.
It's always a good time.
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum, everybody.
An absolute delight.
A dancing machine.
An absolute dancing machine. Had a great time with him.
Since we're on stunt casting, I think, do we talk about the moment yet?
Yeah, so the big cameo, the big one that we were spoiler warning at the beginning of the episode, so spoiler warning here again, but the stunt casting of Chris Evans as himself randomly.
So good.
Really good. Really surprising.
This was my favorite sequence in the movie.
This one you do have to keep secret.
This one you do have to keep a secret. So like Channing Tatum, let people know he's in the movie. This one, you have to keep that he's in it a secret, and also that like the shield comes out, the Avengers music plays, there's a lightsaber, like that was...
Guy has the Hulk arm as one of his weapons as well. Yeah.
This was delightful and just enough.
Yeah.
It was an absolutely perfect scene in a movie that had no other references to like real stuff for the most part.
Yeah, other than
like portal guns and stuff, but like
nothing
that you're like, whoa, like nothing where the movie was like, can you believe we have this?
Yeah, nothing you believe. The only wink nudge would be the streamer that Channing Tatum is. So Channing Tatum's the avatar, but the streamer that is controlling him has like a Deadpool poster behind him while he's streaming. So it's like a little wink nudge, but not a can you believe.
Which is a classic Ryan Reynolds, but a can you believe. So for a little backstory for those who don't know, this movie was made by Fox before Disney bought it. So we are pretty damn sure this scene didn't exist when this movie was completed by Fox. And then it got delayed in a year and a half, and Disney bought it, and they definitely said, Ryan Reynolds, go film an extra scene with some Disney stuff in it.
I think it might have been. It very much. And can we get Chris Evans just a reaction video real quick of him in a restaurant or wherever the hell he was supposed to be? Yeah.
Yeah, because there's literally no way Fox got permission from Disney before Disney bought them. Absolutely. Yes, this we know for sure. But what I love about this is it was really fun and it was perfect. And I am just so grateful Disney didn't own this movie from the start. Because if Disney owned this movie from the start, it would just be Ready Player One, Space Jam crowd all over again. Like it would have been everything.
That's entirely possible.
There'd be Jedi running around. There'd be like agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. soldiers everywhere. Like, it would be too much. But the fact that Disney got this at the tail end and could only do one scene made it just the right amount of stuff.
Right.
And I'd hate to see this movie if Disney made it, honestly.
Yeah, I can fully agree with that. I could see that for sure. It definitely would have been Ready Player One-ish.
Tiring. Instead of like just one fun, surprising scene.
Yeah, and considering that we were discussing this a little bit before we started recording, that this is the script is written by Zach Penn, who also wrote Ready Player One
and Avengers,
and partially Avengers and X-Men and all of this other shit. So Zach Penn, a very famous writer, but wrote the other video game movie and this movie as well. But Zach Penn's also one of those writers where I'm like, I don't know what you've actually written anymore. Because like
he's always a co-writer.
He's always a co-writer and is always just kind of like dropping in. Like I feel like if Zach Penn walks by a room that they're writing a script in, Zach Penn gets a credit.
Maybe he is the hacker voice.
Oh, he's just kind of like he's just getting getting his sticky little hands on everything.
He's just like leaning into a room and being like, "Keep that in," and then suddenly he's a screenwriter.
That might be it. No. So yeah, I don't know how much Zach Penn is contributing to these, but another Zach Penn joint.
I mean, if someone's name is on a bunch of things that are good, I tend to think that like they're probably contributing good things, and that's why people keep bringing them back in.
Fair enough.
I didn't see Ready Player One, but everything else on his list that he's done, I really liked.
Everybody misses the ball. Everyone, you can't hit it all the time.
Yeah, I didn't hear good things about Ready Player One, so I'm not gonna defend that one. But I'm glad I didn't see it. I'm glad I saw this movie instead.
Yeah, but yeah, that Chris Evans cameo, all due to the Fox Disney merger, or as we presume anyway, is a reshoot / addition to the movie. And as well, another big credit to this movie that I loved and friggin' adored, and I'm like, you maybe should win awards for this, is visual effects.
It looks great.
This is tight. It walks the perfect line of everything looks 100% real and interactable while also being video gamey. Like some of the effects of just him putting the glasses on and off and seeing the UI overlay of the world suddenly come into frame, and like these like a new level or mission starts over here in the multiplayer world. It is flawless. And I mean that literally, like not even being hyperbolic. I did not see like a single mistake or a rough around the edges cut or look or everything was perfect. Perfect.
They found an incredible style here of it looks like a video game but tighter. Like if you tightened up all the pixels in a video game. Because like when they cut away to like this is the video game in the real world and you're watching it, you're like, yes, that is what Ryan Reynolds looks like. But as a video game, very well done. Oh my God. And then you go back into the game and there's things like a helicopter will go through and you're like, that helicopter is not real, but it looks incredible.
Yeah.
And it's weird for that to be the compliment, but you know you're in a video game. It's like, wow, for a video game, that helicopter looks really good, but also I know it's not real.
I almost want to look it up because there are moments where I feel like they were doing what Spider-Verse did, where with Spider-Verse, what they did was they used like animation layers and each with things moving at different frame rates to show that they were from different universes, and also to show that like Miles was there was a lot of layers as to like why and what the motivation was, but they used different frame rates. And video games typically have different frame rates than movies. So there are moments where that helicopter, for instance, every time the helicopter went through or the tank went through, it looked like they were at 60 frames per second. Whereas the movie is at 24 frames per second, 23.9 whatever technically, but
we're pretty technical on the show.
But I think it is the visual effect elements that were supposed to be video game stuff. I think it might have been at a different frame rate than the rest of the movie. So it was extra smooth. It had smoother edges. Everything moved more fluid. There wasn't motion blur on any of the video game stuff. And there's just like little details like that where I'm like, I think you fucking nailed this. And this might be award-worthy visual effects.
I 100% agree. Yeah. And it's part of the comedy.
Yeah.
It's not just like we did it and we made it stagnant and then Ryan Reynolds did comedy. Like things hit him and he has to, and his body just bends in like that video game-esque way, and it's very funny, and like other very funny things happen within this style. So it's part of the comedy, but it's also just brilliant visual work, and it captures video games perfectly if you were inside one. So much good stuff happening here.
Even the visual effect of anytime someone changed a weapon, it was one of these small things where clearly this was a video game where you just, very much like Grand Theft Auto, you just, a wheel pops up, you select a weapon, and a weapon just happens. You know, it's not a game where you see the weapon on their back and they physically have to like reach back and change it, or like it's in a holster. It just magically, you pull a bazooka off your back, it's just there now. So there was no specific visual effect to be like, their hand creates a little magical portal and then the gun is there. But the way guns would just disappear when they would let go of them and go into their inventory, it was maybe like a fraction of a second of screen time. But there were so many layers there that it looked natural. It didn't look like they just stopped animating a gun. So like it is an actor. It is Jodie Comer or Ryan Reynolds, or actually it was just Jodie, because that was another detail I did like, which was that guy.
He had no inventory.
But Jodie Comer would like let go of a gun, and the gun didn't just stop animating. It would disappear in a very specific way, and guns would reappear in a very specific way, and in a way where she would go from a handgun to a bazooka, which requires new arm placement, and somehow her arms would teleport to the new place, but I think they would have like 1 or 2 milliseconds, like 1 or 2 frames of like a blur motion on the arms, so her arms weren't teleporting into a new position, but they didn't have to hurry real quick. It would just like blur into the new it looked so fucking good. So fucking good.
Oh damn.
So good visually.
It was a treat. It was a real visual treat, which I don't know why, but I didn't expect that for this movie because I didn't think it was going to have that big a budget.
Same, yeah.
Because, like, Ryan Reynolds is a star, but, like, on his own, he hasn't been all that great. Like, he's usually like, he needs like a Deadpool, an established franchise. Even in an established franchise, he Green Lanterns out sometimes. Like,
Sure.
I wouldn't think he would have gotten the budget for how good and how much CGI this movie has.
A lot.
Like, every time we're not in reality, it's just CGI for the most part. Like,
yeah.
everything happening is being CG'd or being done incredibly by actors, like being video game characters, which is different, obviously. But yeah, so much CG, so crisp in a movie that didn't feel like it had the budget for it.
All right, well, let's take a quick break in today's episode because I want to thank our wonderful friends over at Alpaca Gear.
Oh, Alpaca. Their gear?
Their gear?
So good.
They're ready to go. Alpaca Gear was kind enough to send us their Bravo X sling, a across the chest or waist, however you want to wear it, sling. They make just fantastic pouches and apparel for carrying around your everyday carry, and I really love it. I really love it. It's a game changer.
This ain't your grandpa's bag. Like it's genuinely, the word I have to come up with all the time for Alpaca is innovative. Like, they change so many little things in very interesting ways about bags.
Yeah. Like, so it has a USB port on the outside of it. So if you have a portable charging brick, you can plug it in on the inside of your pouch and then have a cable run outside to your phone. So if you're on the go and you need juice, just to have that quick, like, you don't need to be holding a battery pack or have like a weird cable like running around all of your stuff or put your phone away. Just that quick little in-outside access is really nice. Everything they have these like little magnetic slide locks. They're mag locks. And it's got that, if you know mag locks, it's got that really satisfying little like that nice little click sound, which is really, I like that it's just kind of like, it's now my everyday carry. It's this little crossbody sling. The Bravo X is what I'm using, and it's replaced like 9 other bags, which is one thing that I always like about products when it's like I don't need to have too many different things where it's like, oh, I've got one bag with like poop bags and treats for when I walk the dog. I've got another one for it's like when I'm going on a personal errand. I got another one where it's like I'm going to go to the park and ride, or another one when I'm traveling. I'm like, this is just kind of getting every job done. It's what I take with me now when I walk the dog or when I'm just doing daily errands. It's just a great all-around bag.
And you look real good.
Thank you.
It looks nice.
And it's got a little padded pouch like within it. And I like that on the website they're like, hey, you could put a Nintendo Switch in there. And I like that the website's just like, on their website, they're like, that's the Nintendo Switch pouch. And I'm like, could I put other electronics in there? And they're like, sure you could. But you're putting your Nintendo Switch in there, right? And I'm like, yeah, you got me.
Andrew, we know you have a Switch.
You got me, Alpaca.
And you're going to want to take it places. And this little pouch fits it perfectly.
It fits it perfectly. Yeah, so they've got great crossbody bags as well as these great like modular design magnetic clips for like keys and wallets or whatever it is that you might have on. So you can kind of customize it, make it yourself. I got the sling, but I also got like a crossbody support brace. So if you're like want to like jog or run, you don't get that like slap in your back that you get from like a single strap bag sometimes if you're picking up speed, which I do because I'm fast.
You are really fast.
Yeah, so really great stuff. I just wanted to thank our friends over at Alpaca. And if you want to get your own or see their whole collection, head over to alpacagear.com. That's ALPAKA gear.com. And thank you to our friends over at Alpaca.
Thanks, Alpaca. A question for you that just a very silly thing. So blue shirt guy goes on this like journey of like leveling up by doing no violence.
Okay, yeah.
He's just stealing guns and he's not hurting innocent people. This really was kind of just like Griffin McElroy's Peacecraft all over again. Do you remember Peacecraft?
I very clearly remember Peacecraft. It's a very fun series from Griffin McElroy when he was still working for the video game website Polygon. It is like Peacecraft, but passive runs is a thing that people do online.
Oh, a lot of people do this.
Yeah,
this
that
wasn't
is
a
a
Griffin thing?
No.
Oh, this is how little I watch gamer stuff.
Yeah, but you can do a passive or like no violence run, and that is a thing that people do. It's not the biggest thing in the gaming community, but it's not something that Griffin invented or this movie invented. It is like a subsection of doing a run through of a video game.
I did think it was really dumb that he got really famous for it. That didn't, I mean, we're running across the air, as we said, but even with my little bit of gaming knowledge, I'm like, why do people care?
Yeah, let's dip in on that for a second, actually.
I sincerely don't understand why people care.
I don't understand why people care.
That he's doing a Peacecraft run, like a passive run.
My main problem was that they went over the map. They went a little like all over the board with the global reaction to Blue Shirt Guy.
Okay.
Because if something bananas happened in Grand Theft Auto Online, which is the closest association to what this movie is trying to be, something bananas happens in Grand Theft Auto Online, video game websites probably would cover it.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. IGN would cover it. And I think at one point in this movie, they're like, hey, IGN's talking about it. Some popular streamers would cover it if that's a game they already cover. Like, that's the other thing, too. Streamers don't typically do general gaming stream news.
Yeah, like the 5 biggest streamers in the world all play this game on the same week.
All of which are real-life streamers, none of which, I believe, play Grand Theft Auto 5. So, like, or Grand Theft Auto Online. So it's like that game could literally explode and none of them would care or ever mention it. So, like, that doesn't... So some video game websites would cover it. Oddly enough, I did buy the Jeopardy category. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. Yeah. That was a wonderful little cameo from him. That, like, a Jeopardy category would be like, what's a niche piece of information about video games or whatever.
A thing that went viral that we all knew about. And, like, maybe he'd go viral for, like, 12 hours.
Yeah, but the whole world's talking about Blue Shirt. No one gives a fuck.
No one
fucking cares.
And the movie didn't give any reason of why it was impressive. They weren't like, it should be impossible to get to this level on a passive run.
Right.
Like, they were just like, he's passive. Can you believe it? And I'm like, well, like, maybe they could mention that, like, he's literally playing 24 hours a day.
Yeah. How is that happening?
How is this guy not sleeping? Like, he's played 4 days straight.
Right.
Because he is an NPC, so why would he ever take time off? Like, none of that is brought up about, like, why we love Blue Shirt Guy. He doesn't have, like, incredible Ryan Reynolds catchphrase, which Ryan Reynolds would just ad-lib and become incredibly virally sensational. Like, none of the reasons they gave made any sense. No.
And also, he hacked the game as far as the world knows. So as far as the world knows, this is a guy who his skin is an NPC, so he's not... He did something. He broke the code of the game. He has broken the game to do something you're not allowed to do. And so the fact that people are like, but he's passive and a high level. Can you believe he did it and how hard you'd have to work to do it? Be like, no, everyone would be like, this guy's a fucking hacker. Like, if you can hack the game to add an illegal skin and you can't get booted, you could just go in and be like, set level 1 million or whatever the fuck you wanted to do. You've broken the game.
Yeah,
as far as the world knows.
We see user go into God mode. Even I know what God mode is. You get all the codes and you can do whatever you want. So, like, literally everyone would just be like, oh, he's got God mode codes.
Yeah, he's just doing whatever. Who cares what level he is? This guy's a jackass. People would just be reporting him. Like, that's it. They'd be like, get this guy fucking out of here.
I mean, that's how he even starts. Because Keys gets reports about him.
Right.
That he's, like, doing stuff you can't do. You're stealing people's glasses and shit.
Yeah.
So thank you. Yes, they had no reason for this guy to be so popular other than the fact that he is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that is it. That is it. Yeah, it made sense within the gaming community to a certain degree. I would say another, like, negative to kind of harp at this movie for a second is they really could have cooled it on the fucking streamers. Really just cool it on the... That was embarrassing. And I get that we are
so much.
That's what's most embarrassing. Because, like, I get that this isn't for us. Like, that part of the movie was not for us. We are adults who do not care about these people. Like, even me, like, I watch Twitch streamers. We've streamed on Twitch. I like Twitch as a platform. I like streaming. I don't like these cult of celebrity, like, 14-year-olds give us money and love us. Who gives a shit? But if you did it for one scene, maybe it's slightly distracting, but it's for a certain demographic to get them in the theaters. And then you have streamers talking about the movie. But they're like characters. They're in the movie for like 9 scenes. It is way too much.
Yeah, every time there's a plot beat, these guys are reporting on it. Every single one of them gets a line. And really, it's exactly what you said. If you're hiring these guys, you only need them for one scene to get their fans to tune in to watch the movie.
Yeah.
Their fans aren't going to be like, where were their 5 scenes?
Where was the follow-up scene once Guy became an AI character and the lawsuit was won over Tsunami? What did Dum Dum have to say then? Like, no, get them out of here.
Mm-hmm. And like, no offense to maybe some of these streamers.
No, offense to some of them. Yeah,
some of them for sure.
Offense to some.
I don't know enough about the other streamers.
Yes.
But like, I know you shouldn't have had 4 seats.
Yeah.
I know that much.
Yeah.
Especially for like, this movie wasn't too long. It was an hour 55, but like you didn't need to pad it.
Yeah, you could easily, like, that might have been a good, like, 5 minutes of screen time that could easily just be cut.
Yeah, it didn't make it too long, but you didn't need it.
Yeah, offense to some, Ninja. But offense to some.
That is who I was going to say
Yeah.
as well.
Several people in our theater walked out when he came on screen, which
That-
I was
and
like,
they-
good on those people. That's
they never
respect.
came back. Yeah.
No, like, they immediately, like, the second Ninja's dumb face showed up, they went, and they just got up and people walked out of our theater. Awesome.
Awesome.
Fuck that dude.
Definite respect.
Yeah, definite respect. That guy's a piece of shit. So yeah, we could definitely use fewer streamers other than the Channing Tatum streamer, which is actually an actor playing a character.
Oh, more of that, please.
More.
One real streamer amid 4 actors, I think would have been a nice ratio. The streamer not being Ninja. But I know you're going to
Yeah.
go with Ninja because he's like the biggest streamer. But
There's other ones that are as
There's
big.
other.
Just get whoever.
yeah, get one decent streamer and
Yeah.
then 4 actors. And then it's going to be like, spot the streamer. And then it's like a fun game. And you're like, I actually don't
Like,
know.
I don't know which. The
then-
adults won't know which one it is, but then like the kids into whatever kid tween streamer that they put in would know who it is.
Actually, I'm going to guess I would have been able to guess the real streamer if they did 1 real, 4 fake, because they named their other characters Mouser and Keys. So their streamers would have been like Streamy McStream Stream,
Right.
Guy on Stream.
Yeah.
They would have had the worst names.
All right, that is fair. That is
Just
fair.
like 80-year-old man names.
Because I'm trying to
of who
remember
streamers would be.
the other real
Video
one.
game kid.
The other real one that was in the movie, the Irish guy. I think he's like Jack Septic something.
Oh, I
but
thought there was like a Seamus.
I think you might have thought Seamus because he was Irish, but Jack Septic, I think, is his screen name or whatever. But either way, the writers of the movie wouldn't come up with Jack Septic. They would be it's
They
mousy
never would have.
keys. They'd be like, this one's called Old Monitor. Like they wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't come up with human streamer names.
I need you to support me on Twitch so I can get a new monitor. 'Cause
I'm Old Monitor.
Actually, I like this name a lot now.
Fuck it. That's good.
Old Monitor's growing on me.
Old Monitor ain't bad.
Oh man, I'm gonna put that aside. Someone on Patreon's getting that one. Some lucky person.
Put that in the chamber for later.
Oh, it's in my chamber. I have a funny observation that I can't segue into, so I'm just gonna bring it up.
Lay it on me.
Who needs a segue? I got observations. This movie is very funny in its portrayal of Guy falling in love with Millie. And her like finding out that this is like a computer and an AI and not another player is very funny. But what I really like about this subversion is everyone's always said like the second we have AI and the second we have robots or whatever, we as humans are going to use them for sex. And we're going to want sex from AIs and robots or
Naturally,
whatever.
sex bots, yeah.
Sex bots.
Yeah.
What
Austin
I
Powers called it.
What I really like about this movie is that the second we made artificial intelligence, they wanted sex from us.
Well, someone needs to teach them the ways.
She didn't want to kiss him.
That's fair.
He wanted to kiss her.
That is fair.
He was programmed that way, though. Yeah. But I did like that reversal of like, you don't often see just like the machine very purely falling in love. Because usually if a machine falls in love, it then turns on humanity when it's rejected.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
As you do.
Of
As
course.
you do. When you're...
Could have happened in this movie. This movie could have gone a different direction.
That is the dark
where they
version
need to
of
destroy
Free
the
Guy.
servers before he gets access to the nuclear codes or whatever he does.
She doesn't love me. Boom.
Skynet.
Oh no, Guy, no.
Yeah, there's a chance.
There is a dark version of this movie where that does happen. But yeah, that was a fresh take to me of the computer wants to kiss you and not humans being like, sex please.
Yeah, that is fair. That is fair.
The game doesn't even have a kiss button.
The game doesn't have a kiss button, which doesn't make sense that she kisses him later in
I'm
the
so
fucking
mad.
movie.
I'm so mad
'cause
about that
She kisses
part.
him in the game, and they would need to program kissing into the game. And if there's no kissing button, and if there's no kissing animation, her player-controlled character would not be able to kiss. You can't just kiss. She could tell Guy to kiss her. She
could
could
do
have
that.
said that.
She could have said that.
But she can't kiss him because there's no fucking kiss button.
Andrew, I love you so much.
Love
I'm
you.
gonna kiss you, and we don't need a button. I'll do it later.
Yes.
But earlier in this episode, I said I'm gonna nitpick some of the movie's logic for their own rules.
Yeah.
And this is a rule they clearly stated.
Yes.
That there is no kiss button in this game. So Guy can kiss her, she can't kiss back. And then she kisses him, and she doesn't even respond in a way like, I shouldn't even be able to do that. Like, she's just like, I guess I kissed you now. And the programmer of the fucking game said there was no kiss button.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't.
This is supposed to be her code. She knows that there's no kiss button.
And also, she got like the little clip from Keys earlier. She should have just sang the song.
Oh, yeah.
Singing the song is
Yeah,
what
the Mariah Carey
started.
song,
It's what
yeah.
started his journey into AI-hood.
Yeah.
So since we've established you can't kiss, or just established there is a kiss button, also an easy solve.
Then
She should sing the song, and they sing it together, and all his memories come back.
Yeah.
Which I think would be a very nice moment.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I was so mad. Thank you for also being mad
Because
about
Channing
this kiss.
Tatum can only interact in the emotes that are programmed into the game, which are the dances.
Yes.
So Channing Tatum can do, like, he can shoot, he can walk, he can talk, and then he can do whatever dances or lewd gestures are programmed as emotes. But she, when she so chooses, can do whatever she wants. But not always, but some of the time.
Frustrating.
Let's keep dunking on this.
Oh, what else you got?
I want to dunk on this romance, first of all, on a couple different layers. I'm going to rapid fire dunk right here. All right. First of all, age difference, a little bit too much for me. Just in terms of the actors. Not hugely gross, but still just say like, Ryan Reynolds is like still a good like 20 years older than her. This is still a little weird. I know you're both in a video game, so this isn't really like, this isn't you as human people. This is supposed to be a video game avatar and a video game avatar. So like within canon, it's less gross, but it's still, I don't love the age
You still hired an
difference.
actress 20 years younger than you.
Yeah.
And
No.
I know you were in charge of this movie because you're the only big star in it.
Yeah, and your executive producers.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
Not a
With
tight
you.
look. So not a tight look. Don't love that about the romance.
Okay,
All right.
cool.
So
Love
quick
it.
hit on that. Second hit on the romance between Keys and silly name to say, between Keys and Millie.
He's a hacker, you see.
He's a hacker. He's got the keys. He tickles the old ivories. He's Keys.
I would love it if he actually played the
If he
piano.
played,
that would actually be a wonderful reason for him to be
if the movie ended with someone being like, "Why do they call you Keys?" and it's just Joe Keery fucking playing piano, man. Just he is the piano man. But he programmed Guy in the original version, and it was like he was programmed to fall in love with someone, which I guess was her. And she does fall in love with, or like at least like has a romance with him in this Free City video game.
Yeah.
And she likes him because he just has all of the same interests as her. Like it is very also like narcissistic. It is a little bit like, so you just like that this person is you. And also when it cuts to Keys and Keys is like, he was programmed to love someone like you. Like, I feel like you actually programmed him to be her because she has all of the same interests as her. And you don't both love a coffee, 2 creams, 2 sugars, and bubblegum ice cream. She loves that. And you programmed Guy to love that. So you programmed him to be her, which is also weird. And then she fell in love with herself. It's all kind of gross where I'm like, you fell in love with a program of yourself, I'm pretty sure, designed to love yourself.
It is really, it's not quite clean. Yeah, they had some stumbles there because Keys seems to know in real life that a relationship is not just liking the same things. Because he doesn't pretend to like bubblegum ice cream or 2 coffees or whatever. Like, he doesn't give that to himself. But it felt like when he kind of programmed the game, he's like, what do you do when you're 2 people in love? You like the same things. Okay, so they're both going to like bubblegum ice cream. They're both going to like this Mariah Carey song. Like, you're doing a quick program build of a character. I kind of get that. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense for her to be like she thinks he's a real guy in the real world. And she's like, wow, you like bubblegum ice cream, but it's the only flavor the game makes.
Yeah.
So anyone in the game likes bubblegum ice cream.
Yeah. And
everyone in the game drinks the same coffee.
Yeah, and also
she could have fallen in love with Buddy.
She also has the line, you like bubblegum ice cream? No one likes bubblegum ice cream.
Everyone likes bubblegum ice cream. It's delightful.
I've never met a human being. And I'm not saying that, like, you go up to someone on the street, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Everyone's choosing bubblegum. I'm not saying it's everyone's favorite flavor. I've never met anyone who's like, ugh, bubblegum ice cream.
Spit it on the ground.
It's not licorice. You know, licorice is one where if that was licorice and she was like, most people don't like licorice.
Or like,
Everyone likes bubblegum ice cream.
or some kind of like black cherry or a mint or like something on the cusp.
But everyone likes bubblegum ice cream.
It's fun.
It is fun for everyone, all ages.
There's nothing to debate about the bubblegum ice cream.
Thank you.
Yeah, she likes the most basic bitch things. A coffee with
coffee
two
and ice
creams
cream.
and a sugar.
You mean the most popular form of sold coffee in the world?
Why is your manic pixie dream girl a basic bitch?
The most basic bitch. The most basic bitch.
She's an artist. She hasn't made anything, but she
Yeah.
had an idea for a game that I built completely.
Oof.
She likes bubblegum
It
ice
is startlingly fast how much this is turning into just like a creepy love affair with the most basic bitch.
She's pretty basic.
Yeah, just like, I like cardigans. Like, great. Everyone likes to be a little warm on a fall day. Well, that's not a personality. Taylor Swift, get out of here.
I will say she does like those things, and she is amazed that like they're in the game. I feel like though her feelings towards Guy when they're there, I do genuinely think she likes him more because he's nice and he's helping her. And
Right.
later Keys eventually does help her, and he is a nice guy.
Yeah.
So the helpfulness seems to be more of what she's into than just like, oh my God, bubblegum ice cream. It is weird that she's so amazed about the bubblegum ice cream.
Yeah.
But I totally get what you're saying. Yeah, this is not how this love story quite should go.
100%. Yeah. And especially when he has and I know that this is meant to be part of the charm of his character, and I think as an audience it works, and as a romance it doesn't, is that he has the naivete of a child. And when you're playing a video game online where someone can literally be a child, like, I actually think it's less gross when she finds out it is a 4-day-old computer program than if it was a 12-year-old boy
Who
in a
she
different
let kiss
country.
him.
Yeah, like, she's clearly having, even though the kisses are digital and she doesn't have a button for it and somehow he did or whatever, she is clearly like going on a digital date and having a digital romance with someone who, for all she knows, could be an underage, like, anyone anywhere in the world, because it has the personality of someone who's underage.
Yeah, this isn't the voice of a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
I mean, it is because she is hearing Ryan Reynolds' voice when they're talking over chat, but even she has an accent filter on.
Yeah, so anyone can be anyone's
Anyone
voice.
can do any voice in this game, obviously, because he hears the accent, and then he does it when she turns it off. So
Yeah. The nerdy kid streamer has the voice of Channing Tatum in the game, so that doesn't make it. Yeah.
yeah, so that doesn't make any sense at all. Whoa, she could have been kissing a kid and like romancing a kid.
Yeah.
Because a kid would also like bubblegum ice cream. It's such a young
Absolutely.
kid food.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't had bubblegum ice cream in years, but I used to get it all the time when I was 6.
Yeah.
It was like my favorite.
Yeah. Absolutely. So this could easily have been. There's some red flags she should have noticed here, and it's frankly kind of troubling that she didn't consider them.
She was just okay with it. I will say a thing that bothered me about her character, and this is like not a thing that super bothered me, but I think would have been really interesting. I would have done it. Is she talks about how she doesn't care about this game. She's just looking for that clip she needs. Like, she literally just needs this video clip. She's like, I don't care about this game. I don't game. I'm not a gamer. I really would have liked if her avatar was the default. And like, she didn't add any extra hair. She didn't have any armor. If she kind of even looked like an NPC, because her whole thing is supposed to be like, she also feels like she's in the background and she's not a main character.
Interesting. Okay.
And if she doesn't care about this game, why did she spend 10 minutes being like, I'll be a redhead who wears armor and has suspenders? And like, why
Right.
would she have done all this work if you're just trying to play it to like get to things?
I see what you're saying.
So I actually really would have liked it, and it would have explained to me more why Guy even noticed her, because she is the only sunglasses person who just kind of looks normal.
Wow, you're kind of fucking me up here.
She would have just been a normal sunglasses person like he is.
You maybe should have saved this for your change, because this is actually
Is that
pretty
that
dope.
good?
Yeah, I think
I have a different change, but
I think that's brilliant.
oh, thank you.
I
Yeah.
think that's a brilliant rewrite immediately.
Like, I would love to see someone boot the game up and it shows you the default character, and that's what she's dressed in. Just whatever you get automatically.
Interesting. Yeah, she's the noob outfit. She is the, like, your first day login.
But she's level 135 because she's actually going towards something, but she doesn't like the game.
Right, and Guy parallels her, and I think that's brilliant.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely
I
brilliant.
didn't think it was brilliant. It was just a thing I would have done because the fact that she looks very different in the game, I'm like, but you don't care.
Yeah. 100.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. You're sold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I could keep talking about
Stop
it.
selling. I'm buying.
All right.
It's fully in line with her
$100.
character. She doesn't like this game. She doesn't want the character customization. This is the most like character motivated small detail that, and it would have paralleled her storyline with Guy so much more. I almost called him Guy just now. I don't. The French Canadian
Guy.
coming out on me there for a second.
We are very friends.
So yeah, I'm on board with that. I want to circle back to a few positives before we go in for the close.
I got some positives.
So I will say, as much as I dunk on some of the aspects of the romance of this movie, once Millie and Keys are in the same room, and it's mainly because Jodie and Joe Carey are just such like charismatic, fun actors.
They're both
They
really
have a
great.
terrific time together. I buy their tension, unrequited romance, like this relationship I'm really into and kind of rooting for, and I think they're both cute and sweet and loving, and like they pop on camera. Like I like how these two play their characters when they're in the room together.
I think they're both great. I also was really rooting for this love story in the kind of way that I usually don't in these kind of movies, where I'm like, okay, it's tacked on. Keys gets more to do in.
It hurts to say every time, doesn't
his
it?
name's Keys.
Yeah.
Joe Keery, which also kind of has the word key in it, but
It's better though. It's more acceptable.
Joe Keery, like, you know, they're both kind of into each other. She doesn't realize until the end, but like Joe Keery, like putting these things about how he loves her in the game in a way that she was never meant to find is very sweet.
Yeah.
Like nothing that he was like looking for to be requited or not anything that he was just like, he's like, who do you fall in love with? And he put that all in the game. And it's a very sweet, innocent kind of like, I'm in love with my best friend. And I do support an I'm in love with my best friend when like neither one will say anything because they don't want to ruin the friendship. But then once they say it, like, it's obvious. And, like, this silent thing they do across the street at the end.
First of all, hilarious.
Oh, my God. So funny. But also, you're just like, my heart is so full right now.
Yeah, it's so full. It's so pure. I don't think I've ever seen it played for comedy. The comedic beat of, I'm chasing you down to tell you that I love you too, and you don't know what this scene is.
Because you're just getting coffee.
Her yelling out to Keys and him turning around and looking at her across the street, and Joe Carey's pure, perfect performance of a young man's face when he looks at someone and goes, yeah, I'm getting the coffee. What do you want right now? Like frustration and confusion, but also patience, all happening in one facial expression. And he sells the living shit out of it. And then does a phenomenal performance of like converting that facial expression of those very real and normal emotions of like, what is going on, into, oh my God, it's happening. Oh my God, you know. Oh my God, you're sending it back. Holy shit, are we in love? Like his journey just on his face is chef's kiss good.
A true face journey is rare and hard to do. And Joe Keery goes on one. Like, he goes on a fucking Lord of the Rings trot across his emotions, and they all play across his face, and he nails it. And I was just laughing to myself thinking about what this poor character's been through, because he sent her that video days ago.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't set up, and like, so he professed his love days ago, and he must have just thought she hasn't been bringing it up.
Right.
Like, he definitely thinks she watched that days ago and is just like, well, I just won't mention that. So he definitely thinks she doesn't feel the same way. But so, yeah, this moment, like, what a weird couple of days for Joe Keery's character, Keys. So, yeah, this whole, like, and her realization moment, and then, like, Mouser actually gets some fun stuff to do in this scene.
I like that he is sincerely Keys' friend who sticks by him in the end. Like, this, like, combative coworker buddy thing, like, I bought all of it. They really did play him for the villain throughout the whole movie, but never crossed that line where it was irredeemable. And I'm like, yeah, I've had buddies like that. It was just like come on, man, get your shit together. Like, I'm going to work a little harder than you, and you should just work a little harder. You'll get a promotion. Like,
yeah, he was never quite a villain because he didn't know Guy was alive and he didn't know the game was stolen. So he really was just doing his job. He's like, reboot the game. He's like, all right, I reboot the game. That's my job. There's no reason for me not to.
Yeah.
I'm a villain because like Guy will get hurt, but I don't know that. So, like, yeah, they did a really good job of being like, he's like a foil, but not a villain.
Yeah. And then that moment at the end when Millie gets up and his little moment of like, oh my God, finally. And it's a classic best friend line in like a rom-com type of movie, but you love to see it. And he performed it well.
Yeah, definitely huge positive. They're both very, very good. Just to like call out some like great jokes. I think I embarrassingly laughed when Guy was like trying to like get all the NPCs together and give them a rousing speech. He's like, "Are you sick of? Hey, Millie, are there corpses on the street in your world?" She's like, "No corpses on the street. Like bank robberies every day? No bank robberies. Gun violence? It's a huge problem. There is actually gun violence." This hit me so hard. This knocked the wind out of me, this joke.
That knocked the wind out of the theater. That was so funny. Such a good delivery. And that whole segment of like the rousing speech of
you
like
can put your arms down.
And not being able to put his arms down no matter how hard he tried. That was super funny and charming.
Mm-hmm.
That was a whole great set.
I forget what the big guy was called. He should have just been called Big Guy.
The muscular version. It was called Dude. Because it's the extreme version of Guy.
Yeah, but he's a big guy.
Yeah, I guess you could have called it Big Guy.
I'm going to go with mine.
But he was never Guy. He was Blue Shirt Guy is what everyone knew him as.
I mean, he was Guy in the game. They built him off his NPC character.
I guess. But people didn't know he was an NPC and we're calling him Blue Shirt. Anyway, I'm with you. Big Guy would have been a better name.
Very fun.
But I believe he was called Dude.
Dude just getting glasses and running away to like touch things.
Love it.
What a great way to defeat your villain.
Catchphrase. Him just being like, and adjective. Like, him not being completed yet as a human is really funny and charming. The face swap they did for the giant man who played the version of him and then Ryan Reynolds' face is really well done, like eerily well done. And also very, very funny. The fact that he has a tattoo of the blue shirt on his chest.
Because he can't wear a shirt.
The game over underwear. The fact that he's wearing the shoes that Guy likes. That's all. It's all super funny. It doesn't make sense that when they release the second game, the first game gets deleted. That's not how fucking video games work. But anyway.
I mean, it does when you're trying to hide the fact that you stole someone's video game.
It still doesn't remove the existence of the first one from the world.
Everyone else still has it on their servers.
You would have because if you have to. It's not an update. He's like selling a new game, which would be a new install. So it doesn't. Anyway.
Yeah, it would delete it. He would have to delete it off everyone's programs. And he would probably be sued to hell. Like, I paid $25 for that or $80 for that game. You can't just delete it.
Yeah, because it's not a free to play. Like, it's an online game. And he would have to shut down the servers for the first. So that doesn't make any sense. But
we're running a crosshair. Dude, we're running a crosshair.
Dude, and also the fight scene with Dude, all very fun. The lightsaber, the Captain America shield, and then just everything about that was really playful and a good time. And even just like the tension of trying to like run to the perfect island felt very fun and charming.
And all the stuff with Buddy.
Yeah, yes.
He was
Lil Ray
great.
Howerton does a fantastic job in this.
Have I seen him in anything else?
Space Jam recently? He was the other announcer.
Oh, he was the other announcer. I guess I didn't recognize him because I think he had sunglasses on in Space Jam. So what a weird little twist.
Oh, a little flipsy doodle on you.
Little flipsy doodle. Yeah, he was great in this. He definitely stood out more than he did in Space Jam because he looked familiar and I'm like, I haven't checked his IMDb yet.
Okay.
I didn't want to distract myself.
Yeah, you've seen him in stuff. Very funny.
He crushed this. Like, just like also like the vulnerable moments, the friendship moments. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm not real. Like, this moment is real. What?
That was such a like. It might be philosophy 101, but it was such a subtle, understated performance by Lil Ray that like I bought it. That actually kind of hit me in my chest when he's just like, "Who cares if none of it's real? This moment's real. Like our friendship's real. I'm here listening to a friend who's having a tough day, and if that's not real, I don't know what is." And I'm like, Jesus, that is so simple, but it's delivered so beautiful and pure, and it actually. Like, he lands it. He lands it so well.
Nails it. It's the kind of thing that I'm like, that actually might help me get through a tough day. This scene.
Yeah. Absolutely. So really, really good performance from Lil Ray.
Like great comedic and great friendship performance. Like their bond was great.
Good sincerity there between the two of them.
Great relationship. Good back and forth. You love to see Ryan Reynolds with another comedian.
Yeah. So I was all about that. I liked that.
I don't know. I think that might be all I have for.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Like it was a fun movie. Some weird romance stuff. And the female character should have had more agency, but it's a fun movie.
I mean, as always, there's stuff we can dunk on.
Yeah.
But such an enjoyable movie watching experience.
Oh, really? Taika was fun, too. Taika really leaned into that character for me. You didn't do it for you?
I actually thought this was one of Taika's lesser performances.
Interesting.
He didn't do a lot for me. I liked his wardrobe a lot.
Yeah, his wardrobe was fun.
His wardrobe was cool and very on point. I didn't think he was bad, but he didn't pop. Yeah, I wasn't like, oh, Taika sucks at this, but I was like, oh, this isn't what I expect from Taika. I think like him like sitting on the floor was the only thing that I was like, oh, that feels right. Okay, now you're doing it, Taika. Now you got it, and then you never quite found it again.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, you go back to directing.
I had fun with them, but I see what you're saying. There,
You're gonna shine in the directing booth, Taika.
Yeah. There were a few points during this movie where I was like, I feel like the Millie Keys storyline is like the happy ending version of what they did in season 1 of Mythic Quest. With that episode, A Dark Quiet Place, the one with the one with different actors. Y'all, if you haven't watched Mythic Quest, really, really get into it. Give it a shot. If you
liked Free Guy, you are going to love Mythic Quest.
Yeah, and it might take an episode or two.
It does take a few.
It seems a little generic off the top, but there is an episode that you can actually just watch on its own. It's mid-season 1 of Mythic Quest. I think it's called A Dark Quiet Place. It's a one-off story, and it is a beautiful love story of indie developers. And it is the like sincere drama, romantic / dark romance version of what's going on in Free Guy. So that's worth checking out. If there was anything about Free Guy you enjoyed, check out Mythic Quest.
Mythic Quest is worth checking out, and this movie's worth checking out. Also, we give it a watch.
We had a good time. All right, well, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? So now that we've discussed everything we discussed, what would you change about this movie if you could change anything? But before we do ask that final question, we want to give a shout out to our wonderful friends and sponsor of today's episode. I want to thank our friends over at NordVPN.
NordVPN. You need a VPN, guys. You need it for so many reasons. You got to protect your stuff. You got to be able to geolocation to other places.
Yeah.
You got to geolocation to other places.
Yeah, just get around. So what it's going to do for you? It's going to do a couple things. One, it is going to help protect your privacy. It's going to hide your location, and it's going to make you more secure, which is important anytime, anywhere. It's important while you're at home. It's also important when you're on a public Wi-Fi or you're traveling as well. It is very beneficial, very helpful for security and privacy.
You don't want some guy named Keys hacking all your information.
Hey, if Free Guy has taught us anything, is that there's hackers out there, all right? They'll hack you. They'll hack you.
But not if you got a NordVPN. Because they won't be able to find you or get in there.
That's right. And the other great thing about NordVPN is that they have incredible speed as well. So it is not going to slow down your internet connection. You're still going to be getting a great connection speed from it. So if you are doing something like playing a video game, like you are playing the Free City from the film Free Guy, you'll get in there with a very quick speed. And it also allows you to access geographic content that may not be available in your location. Like we're in Canada, and sometimes we use NordVPN to view things that maybe the Canadians didn't want us to view in Canada.
That the Canadians aren't supposed to see.
But we are wherever we want to be because of NordVPN, all right? Location's a construct. That's what I say.
It is with NordVPN because you can access content from 59 different countries by changing your virtual location with one quick click. It's also so easy, you guys. It sounds complicated because you're like, VPNs, ISPs, what are these things? You don't need to know.
You click a thing.
You just click a thing and you're set to a different country and you can watch a different streaming service if you want.
And you can get it on your Android, iPhone, Apple, Windows.
You can get it on up to 6 devices per subscription.
Super easy, couple clicks. It couldn't be simpler. So go to nordvpn.com/TFS or use code TFS to get 73% off your 2-year plan plus 4 bonus months for free. Be quick because this offer is for a limited time only. So once again, that's nordvpn.com/TFS, promo code TFS, 73% off your 2-year plan plus 4 bonus months for free. And thank you, NordVPN, for sponsoring this episode.
Thank you, NordVPN, for my safety on the internet.
And as well, before we get into the final question of what would you change, we want to remind you real quick, as we do every week, that if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. It's free. It takes a couple minutes of your time. It helps support the podcast. It helps us move up the charts. It then recommends us to new listeners. And new listeners, when they find the podcast, they check those reviews, and it helps ensure that someone new is actually going to hit download and start listening.
And then you're going to make a friend who's going to be like, thanks for that review. I found the podcast this way, and everybody wins.
It's
but
a win-win.
It all starts with you leaving that review.
Yeah, it takes a couple minutes, and while you're there, do it for a few of the podcasts that you love. It sincerely makes a world of difference for podcasters. So rate, review, subscribe wherever you get your stuff. And if you want to support the podcast monetarily, you can check us out over on Patreon at patreon.com/FromSuperheroes. When you go over there, you can subscribe to us at different levels, whatever is in your budget, as little as $1 a month, as much as you can afford, and any number in between. You know how numbers work. Pick one. That's a level you could subscribe at.
Oh, I hope they picked a good one.
I hope it was a good one.
Like one of my favorite numbers, like a 6.
Oh, that's quality. And no matter what number you pick, no matter what level, you're going to get some exclusive bonus for being one of our patrons. At the $10 a month hero level, you get a bonus episode of this podcast every single month that's exclusive to our Patreon page. This month is a banger. We did Jungle Cruise, so go check that out.
We had so much fun. You also get a nickname from me that won't be Keys.
That's true. You get a special, better chosen nickname than the characters of the Film Free Guy from Diana. And with Patreon, you can change your level. You can cancel anytime if your budget changes or if things are in flux in your life. You're not locked into stuff. It's just subscribe, support us, get a few cool benefits while you're at it. Change it if you need to. It's all chill.
Excellent.
Patreon.com/FromSuperheroes. That's patreon.com/FromSuperheroes. If it's in the budget, we appreciate it. If not, you take care of you. I understand you come first, but
you guys come first, and hopefully we come second.
I would like it. I would love a second.
Oh man, that would be top dollar.
Good God, that would be high.
I would feel really special.
That would be very high if we were a second.
I would be like, look across the street, Joe Keery, Jodie Comer, like moment for
it's
me.
happening.
It's happening.
And I'm like, I'm just trying to make you a podcast, and then I'd be like, oh my God, it's happening. So patreon.com/FromSuperheroes. Now, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? Diana, what would you change?
I quite enjoyed this movie. We found some flaws as we spoke, but they weren't my ready changes, so I don't really have any changes for Millie, but probably if I'd thought of them before, I would change her a bit. So that's not going to be my change. My change is the thing that bothered me most in the movie. We didn't talk about it because I was saving it. So they rebooted the whole game. And then Guy gets kissed and he gets fixed and he remembers everything. But then the other NPCs are still willing to change even though they've been rebooted. So the NPCs all should be back in their default state. Like they shouldn't be serving cappuccino. They shouldn't realize that men are like, you can date other men that aren't trash. Like all the NPCs should be at the level Guy was at when they got rebooted, when he like brings them all together and tries to get them to leave. So honestly, and it really bothered me. Like they should have no development because Guy needed a kiss to break himself out of it, but that wouldn't have broken anyone else out of it in the like 30 minutes they had to go to the docks and get everyone together.
Right.
They still would have been in their very like stuck states. So honestly, my big change is that only Guy got rebooted in that reboot. He's a single NPC, and they were like, we'll just reboot that NPC, and everyone else seems to be fine. And then that explains why everyone else is still willing to be like, yeah, we should break out of our chains and we should live better lives, because they wouldn't.
Right.
Just by the movie's own logic, they wouldn't, and it bothered me. Like, none of them got kisses from Millie.
Oh, so rather than reboot everything, they only reboot Guy.
They only reboot Guy when they're trying to fix the game. Also, like, that's just the smart business decision, so the game doesn't go offline.
Right.
You just reboot one character and, like, wipe him to his defaults.
I see what you're saying.
It's a small thing, but it bothered me a lot. And it's my biggest change, and I found this movie quite delightful otherwise. So that's mostly all I have. Andrew, what would you change?
That's not bad. I can totally see the logic problem there. It didn't quite bother me because I was Looney Tunes and not looking down. But I see that is one of the many logic problems there that everyone would need to be kind of jarred out of their casual existence to remember the leaps that they had made on the previous iteration of their life cycle or whatever.
You get it. You get me.
I fully get it. I think Guy needed to have known that he was about to lose his memories.
Oh.
I think it needed to be a sacrifice. And it was set up so clearly to me that I thought that was going to be the next logical step, and it was going to be very satisfying because they set up that this island oasis that is the original game. The Channing Tatum guy gives the clip to Millie and is like, I found the glitch and I went there once. But he even says, he's like, they've patched the glitch since I went there, and it's impossible to get there now, ever since they patched the glitch. Then, because they're trying to shut down Guy, they reset the servers to a previous game state.
Oh, the glitch.
Which should bring the glitch back that allows you to get to the island. So it should just be a choice that Guy has to make, that she has to present Guy with, where it's like, I might be able to win this lawsuit, get to this secret area, and prove that they stole my code, but I need to have keys reset the server to a previous state, which means you forgetting everything that we've been through. And then Guy has to decide, like, hey, keys, reset the server. I'm going to give up my memory and like be like, Millie, we've had great time together. This has been the best. But like to be inspired by maybe that speech with Buddy, to be like, it doesn't matter if I remember it or what's real or what's not. It was real to me. And that's all that's ever going to matter. And then they flip the switch and it's the tragic Guy doesn't remember, but now she has the chance to prove that her code was stolen. But then you can have it all because Keys is like, oh, no, wait, you can jog his memory. It wasn't actually deleted. You can bring it back. So we can then, like, you can scale it back. That doesn't need to be the permanent effect thing. But I think Guy should know that he's about to lose his memory, and it should be to open the glitch again that allows her to prove that her creation's been stolen.
I think that's great. It's like more about Millie. It gives her more to do. It's a sacrifice play on his part, but it's also a sacrifice that they have a way to dial back. Honestly, even if they don't give him his memories back, they've proven that he can like break out of his mold anyway. So even if he just sees her again, like once they move into the nice world, he would still grow into a new person again. So it wouldn't make me too sad. It's not like he's dead. Like he would grow again. He's like a flower that you like just replant. He would come back again, so it wouldn't make me too sad. I think that's a really great ending. Yeah, it's really more involved. It's a more heart-wrenching ending, but it really fits with the movie.
If he didn't get his memories back, I think it could almost work if like there was an NPC in the game based on her and like her secret feelings towards Keys, maybe that like Guy could meet.
Oh, something she
that could be
actually wrote.
Cute. But either way it works. Yeah. But yeah, I think an aware sacrifice would be good.
That is great. Yeah. Instead of just like he gets deleted. Yeah. Just in a random moment.
And I'm with you that like everyone else gets their stuff back without an inciting incident. But I think that rather than skipping everyone losing their memory, I would like Guy to be like the inspiration and actually like give an inciting incident that makes everyone remember.
Love it.
So I'm with you on yours, and I think it just needs that little like oomph from Guy.
No, I'm with you on yours. That's a great oomph. That's better than just running across a bridge.
Yeah. You can still do the bridge thing.
Oh,
but like,
okay, we'll still do the bridge thing.
You can still do the bridge thing. That's how you get to the glitch or whatever. You know?
All right, that's fun. I love it. We did it.
It's not bad.
We did it.
Well, I think that's it. That's going to be it for this week for Free Guy. We are going to be back next week. And next week on the podcast, another theatrical release movie. We're talking about Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. He's got snakes for eyes.
He's got snakes for eyes. We've always said it, and that is for sure what the movie is about.
Definitely the plot
now
of the movie.
For me to take a big sip of coffee and watch this movie. What? We are covering Snake Eyes on next week's episode of the podcast. In the meantime, if you want to get a hold of us, you can reach me on Twitter at Ivimey, Ivimey.
You can reach me at Words of Diana.
And you can reach both of us at From Superheroes. And we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.